Two quick points. We were talking on the writing of history in this country. Bipin Chandra, the famous court historian, if I may so call him, has written a 650-page book on the Indian freedom struggle. How many pages do you think are given to the INA and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose? 1.5. This is what we are crying about. Because 26,000 soldiers of the INA died. Today they don't have a monument. There is no monument. There is not one line carved in stone about these patriots. Is that not falsification of history?
Professor Tanvir now. Professor Tanvir will respond. Professor Tanvir.
Change it, but how
okay. Good.
Not the RSS. General Bakshi.
What did General Bakshi? Can I answer that?
Sir, I request you.
General Bakshi, I'm aghast by this whole understanding of yours about the idea of India. You see, when you talk about the idea of India, you bring in only army. You see, the idea of let me complete. Don't interject in between. I don't interject. Yeah. So India is much more than army. Army is one single constituent unit of the whole India. You see, there is a civil society. There is a civil society, and what is army which is not civil? This is the way how military has been defined, but not going into that idea. You see, nationalism, the context is about nationalism. When we discuss nationalism, we have to think about the process of nation building. We have to think about the process of state building. And there, you know, we have to take into all, you see, pluralism into account. You have to put pluralism.
Can I just answer that?
Can I ask you?
Take pluralism after democracy. You see, so therefore, tank nationalism can never help.
No.
Okay.
Can we just?
Can he respond this time because he hasn't spoken? But one point can I make before this? Students in JNU are all adults, I presume.
Yeah, of course.
They are adults?
Yeah.
Or they are kindergarten students?
No, they are adults.
So I can assume, therefore, that they have the ability to think for themselves. How in the world is placing a tank pushing them towards violence in any way?
You see, I mean,
I don't know.
You see,
the
symbol.
Gaurav Bhatia is responding. I'm saying there's a deeper point.
Nationalism is all about symbols.
Gaurav Bhatia
is all about symbols.
Gaurav Bhatia. Exchange the courtesies of the debate.
You need to explain the symbol tank, what it symbolizes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You are talking about a military tank. It is symbolic. Symbolic of unity. Symbolic of valor of the soldiers. And wherever it is placed, it needs to be respected. You talk about freedom of speech. How are you able to enjoy this freedom of speech? It is only because these country soldiers are protecting the borders. Say if there is an invasion, India is invaded, the freedom of speech that you value so much would not even be there. And the larger point is about plurality. Then I would like to ask you, what kind of pseudo-secularism is it that you don't talk about what happened in West Bengal? You don't talk about Ayub Pandit. You don't talk just you don't listen. You are interrupting. I have not made my point.
He didn't interrupt.
I waited off. Let me make my point. Why does it disturb you when I try to make the point? I am
Dinesh Vaishnav. He didn't interrupt.
Talk about all these things.
I waited for my turn.
He waited for his turn.
I expect some respect.
He waited for his turn.
I have a problem with what? I have a problem that Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Mr. Sitaram Yechuri, other leaders rush to JNU when the Delhi High Court says that the slogans that were being shouted that day were against the spirit of democracy. But they don't go to JNU to celebrate Kargil Vijay Divas. Where were they on that day? Second, I also have a problem with all these leaders trying to politicize a tank being placed. Is your ideology so fragile that just because a symbol of our unity, strength and valor be placed and all your ideology would be demolished? Your freedom of speech would be extinguished? Your ideology, if it's so fragile, it has no right to survive.
I will speak.
That is my point. Please.
It goes back to
you. Accommodation for all. Accommodation. You know something?
We are not pseudo-patriots.
No, three words. Supreme Court used discussion. Just, Mr. Vajpayee, three words and I'll complete my... Listen to me. 3 words. Discussion. Discussion is fine in democracy. Just a sec. Mr. Vajpayee, I'm using 3 words, allow me. Discussion, fine. It is our right. We advocate a philosophy, it is very right. Incitement is not freedom of speech, the Supreme Court says so.